stretch where you have guys out due to injury and illness, how nice is it to have a day off followed by a practice day to help reintegrate guys and freshen up on everything?
It's big for our group, especially. You talk about guys being in and out of the lineup, injuries, illnesses. But one, it's good to give these guys a little bit of rest to recover. And then as you're able to go through a practice, you're able to mix different combination of guys together, not knowing what situation you're going to end up in, but guys able to play with each other no matter the combination we put on the floor.
It's been a while since you had some practice time. What were some of the areas that you really honed in on today?
Well, offensively, the chemistry and the flow, understanding what we want to do conceptually versus necessarily play running. But then the other side of it was defensively. We've got to get back to our staples of being able to protect the paint at a high level, defensive rebounding, our aggression and being able to turn teams over, and then just finishing possessions more than anything.
What was Franz able to do today in practice?
Franz was on a light workout day, no contact, a little bit of shooting, light movement.
Is he progressing in the right direction?
I would say he's progressing in the right direction, but we're going to have to use that as a daily basis to see how he responds, to what he's able to do.
And how's Joe? I saw Joe shooting some. What is he able to do?
Joe's able to move a little bit more, do a little bit of contact stuff, so he's probably progressing a little bit faster.
And how's Jonathan doing this year?
Jonathan was not able to go today. Part of that is due to basically sickness, as we have a little bug going around the group. So some of it is that more than anything.
That is the reality of being in the locker room, traveling so much.
It's life.
Yeah.
It's life. It's the locker room. It's guys in there. Guys catch colds. You get flus. You guys get sick. We have, in the sport, there's injuries that happen. This is part of our sport, and this is what we have to constantly prepare for. And the great part about this group and this organization is that they're making sure that these guys are put in the right situation to get the recovery that they need, get all the things that they need to have a speedy process back.
And one more, how's Wendell doing? What was he able to do?
Wendell was able to get on the court, but without contact. So he's moving around, well, but just there's no physical contact with the coaches yet.
When you look at some of the team's losses, there's been a lot of those kind of big first quarters. You talk about the Brooklyn game,
Yep.
Cleveland, Minnesota. How important is it, especially being a little bit undermanned, to get off to a good start and kind of start the game on a strong note?
That's a great point. I think our guys understanding, and our coaches have talked about it a ton, understanding how you start games off sets the tone. And we've showed clips throughout the year when the first possession of a game, us getting a big stop, being able to get out and run and get on the break, and that just builds the energy in the building. It builds the energy of the team. So being able to anchor home and on our defense first about a stops game early on is very important.
I mean, I know a lot of people tend to focus toward the end of games, and that's an important area of growth. But I remember when Cliff was here, he would say a lot of games are kind of won and lost in the first quarter. Like, playing from ahead is a lot easier than playing from behind. Do you kind of subscribe to that too? I mean, obviously you got to be able to do everything.
You'd like to do it all.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you would like to do it all. But at the end of the day, it's possessions throughout a game. We can talk about the start of games and being able to start out hot, but you don't want to put yourself down where we've been down 17 to start. We've been down 20 to start. Those are tough ones to come back from, but ultimately it turns into how much energy you have to expend to get back. And then throughout the game, it's also those possessions that you may miss. And we've just got to continue to get better, which we have and will get better at valuing possessions and taking care of the basketball and doing all those small things where it doesn't turn into the details of you beating yourself.
When you're playing against teams who pack paint against you or excel in that area, how much is your defense a good counterpunch for that to create opportunities to get out there before they can get that set?
And that's exactly why we went back and started touching over our defense again, to make sure that we finish possessions off or we turn them over. So you are playing before they're able to set and shrink the floor, have everybody tight to the paint. And so now those gap lanes, they become wider as you start to drive and kick when their defense isn't set.
Really good.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
For a group that has had injuries and illness, how nice was it to have a day off followed by a practice day to help get everything back in rhythm?
I think it's good, just guys being able to take time to get rest, get better. Had a lot of guys sick, including myself. Just part of the season. It's that time of the year, so just gotta do what you can to feel as good as you can.
For your group, what was the focus today as you went through a practice session, first one in a while?
Yeah, I think just getting everybody back going. Just got up and down a little bit, even played live a little bit, so that was good just to get everybody's blood flowing and get ready to hit the road.
Jalen's shooting the career high from three. What's impressed you about his improvement as a shooter and just his work ethic?
I think just like you said, his work ethic. I mean, when you see somebody put as many hours in as he has, it doesn't surprise you when he starts making shots in the game. The work I think speaks for itself. I think he knows that. I think that's why he's been shooting the ball that way. So, we just want him to keep doing it, keep doing his thing, and he's been great.
What's going to be the key to this 4-game road trip? Coming back from success?
I think sticking together. We got 4 tough games, all in tough environments. So definitely gonna have to stick together. It's gonna be some adversity, but if we're able to stick together and play hard as a group, we should be able to get some good wins.
We've seen this team sometimes struggle in the first quarters and some of the kind of worst losses of the year. How important is it to get off to a good start and make sure that you're in the game from the start?
Yeah, I think that's important in any game you play. Starting strong, starting fast. You don't want to put yourself in a hole that's too deep to get out of. So I think that's important. Starting the first quarter well.
For you especially, how important is it for you to kind of to set the tone, and whether it's passing ball, getting others involved, or finding your own scoring to kind of help the team accomplish that?
Yeah, I think for me, just coming out each and every game, knowing that I'm probably the focus of the other team, so trying to read and react, not being predetermined. So taking what the game gives me, I think at the start, obviously everything I do, I want to be aggressive, which is, it might be attacking to make a play, it might be attacking to score, but whatever I do, trying to be aggressive, and then, just reading from there. So if I start the game off, it might be a first quarter where I feel like, I can get going and I score 12 points, or it might be a time where, I'm playmaking and trying to get other guys open. So, whatever I do, I just want it to be aggressive and for the betterment of the team.
How great is it to have Markel back now, practicing and going through a couple games? What impact does he have for you guys?
Yeah, it's great just seeing him back out here and getting to get back in the mix with us. He's been out for a while, so we're excited to have him back. And I'm excited to have him on this road trip with us. I think he's going to help a lot, just with some defensive stuff, some playmaking, and I'm really excited.
As you said, you're the focus now for defenses. As your career's gone along, how have you felt that shift, and how much extra focus is there when Franz is off the court?
I think, just as I came in the league, I think last year was my first year, so no one had seen me before. So I think now, after playing a year, everyone kind of has a feel for maybe who I am as a player. But, I think now just me trying to, not be one-dimensional or not let them, if they take away one thing, being able to do something else. So, whether it's like, I think one thing this year was improving my jump shot, because last year a lot of teams backed off and, trying to bait me in a jump shot. So this year I was trying to make them pay. So just trying to figure it out and, don't let them, scheme on you and be able to stop you, try and have a counter for everything they do. And I think I've done a pretty good job, but as, the year goes on, I'm sure it's going to get even more difficult. And, I think the team has done a great job of helping me, just be able to make plays and just trust me to, help us. So
You were out here when the league released the latest returns on All-Star voting. Climbed up a spot to 9th in the front court. I think you more than doubled your vote from last week. In fact, what is it? I'm sure you're trying to block some of it out, but what does it mean to you to hear, everyone kind of put you in that All-Star conversation as we get closer to that announcement?
It's very cool. Just with votes and stuff. Obviously, that comes from the fans, so you always appreciate that. But I think it's something that you're not really focused on as the season goes on. You just want to play and win as many games as you can. But when the time comes for that selection to be made, if my name is selected, then that'll be awesome, and I'll be very happy. But until then, like I've been saying, I think just winning as many games as we can is important, and then trying to get into this All-Star break, with some good momentum as a team. So, whenever we get that chance to take a break and come back, that we're in a good spot.